Hi guys, Miss Bushman here, and today I have a fun science lesson for you. Now we're going to talk about the way a particular thing grows. Now it's not just anything. In fact, it's something we see a lot of this time of year. Think about it. It's fall and it's Halloween. What do you see a lot of? I'll give you a hint. You can find it at a patch and pick them. Did you figure it out yet? I'll give you one more hint. It's orange and circular, and you could carve it or paint it. Did you figure it out? If you guessed a pumpkin, you would be right. Now, before we keep going, I want you to pause this video and talk with someone at home about what you know about a pumpkin. So go on and pause it and talk to someone. I hope you paused the video and talked about it, because now we're gonna go over what's inside. But first, I want to talk about what's on the outside. Now, it's a little hollow if you knock on it, but this outside is hard, and this is called the flesh of a pumpkin. Now this right here is the stem, and the stem is super important to the growth of the pumpkin because when it's in a patch, it's attached to a vine, which gives its water and nutrients to the pumpkin so it could grow nice and big, just like this. Now, I've already carved into this so we can open it up. Now let's look at what's inside. What is all that? We're gonna find out. Now, I wish you guys could feel this. It's super slimy and stringy, and it smells a little weird, but we're gonna talk about what we see. So first, I'm seeing a lot of orange stringy pieces. And it feels super slimy. This is called the pulp of a pumpkin. That's P-U-L-P, pulp. Now, we could actually eat the pulp. In fact, it's what we see with pumpkin pie. But of course, you shouldn't really eat it like this because it might not be too tasty. We also have one more thing in here. That is the seeds. Now, you may have heard of pumpkin seeds and maybe even eaten them before, because if you put these seeds in an oven and bake them, it makes for a delicious snack. But that's not the only thing seeds are good for. Remember, if we put these seeds into the ground and take care of it, we can grow our own pumpkins. Now, how cool is that? And there's tons of seeds in this pumpkin. So now I'm gonna go clean my hands because they're a little slimy. And then we're going to talk about how the pumpkin grows once we plant the seed. And my hands are all clean. Now that was really cool to look inside of a pumpkin. And remember, the last thing I mentioned was the seed. Now we're going to talk about what happens once we plant the seed into soil. Because as you may know, that's how this grows. We have to start out with the seed, just like this. This is a picture of a seed, and I'm going to put it on the board so you can see it. So we start out with the seed in the pumpkin's life cycle. Now, the life cycle is how the organism grows. It goes through phases. It doesn't just become a pumpkin right away. First, like I said, we start with the seed. Now, can you think of what might happen after we have a seed and take care of the seed? What might sprout up? A sprout! So once we have the seed and plant it and take care of it, eventually a little sprout will pop up. And that's when you know your pumpkin is starting to grow. That's the second phase in the pumpkin's life cycle. After the sprout comes the vine. So the sprout will turn into a nice big vine, which, as I mentioned, the vine is what the pumpkin grows from. So it's a very important step. And after the vine, a yellow flower just like that grows on the vine. I bet you didn't know that there was flowers on a pumpkin. Eventually though, the flower dies, but not to fear. What pops up after is even better. A green pumpkin. Of course, it's pretty small in size, but this is how you know you're getting closer to something like this. So we'll put that up here, and that would be the fifth phase in the pumpkin's life cycle. And finally, we have a big orange pumpkin. But of course, the vine still stays attached to the stem because the stem is what gives the pumpkins its water and nutrients. So once we take it off, it's all done growing. Now it's your turn. So I hope you had your memory caps on, because if you look in your item bag that you picked up from school, you'll find this worksheet. it says life cycles of a pumpkin. Now, if you look at it, these pictures might look really familiar to what we just did up on the whiteboard. We have the green pumpkin, the sprout, the flower, the vine, but it's all out of order. So what I want you to do is put these pictures in order from how a pumpkin grows. For example, I'll give you a little hint. We know that seeds would be number 1 because that's the first phase in the life cycle. So it's your turn to fill out the rest and put it in the proper order. Now, once you're done, you could take a picture and put it onto the Google Classroom or send it in an email so you can see how you did. And also in your bag, you may have found this pumpkin outline and some orange construction paper. That's because we're gonna be making our own pumpkins. So what you can do with this is I want you to cut out the pumpkin so you're left with this. And you're going to take this, and we're gonna pretend this is construction paper. So you're gonna take your orange construction paper and your outline of the pumpkin, and you could take a pencil and trace the pumpkin. That way you'll have a perfect pumpkin. So once you trace it, you can cut out the outline. I want you to do that 2 times. That's because your final product is gonna look something like this. You see, because we have 2 pumpkins right here, it flips open like a book. So I'll say it again. Once you trace your pumpkin and cut it out, you're gonna trace another pumpkin and cut it out, so you're left with 2 pumpkins. Now, once you have the 2 pumpkins, you're going to either staple or glue or tape the stems together so you're able to flip it up just like this. Now, for this first part on the outside, you're going to be able to decorate your pumpkin however you want. So I went with a classic jack-o'-lantern style. Now you could do something super spooky, something silly. You could do something just like mine, put your own flair on it and decorate it however you want. Don't forget to give your pumpkin a name. My pumpkin's name is Gordon because another name for pumpkins is a gourd. Now, once you flip it open, you're left with some blank construction paper. I want you to tell me what you see inside a pumpkin. Now remember, when I dissected this pumpkin, I mentioned 2 things I saw in there. So I want you to draw the things right inside, and up here, I would like you to write I see statements. I'll show you what I mean. So you're going to take a marker, a crayon, whatever you have, and write I see. And you're gonna write it again, I see, because remember, we see 2 things in the pumpkin. So you're gonna label it just like that and write what you see. Remember, one of them you could put into the ground. After you write those statements, you can draw what you see in this pumpkin and then you'll be all done. I can't wait to see your writing and to see what you do with the pumpkins. Then remember, once you're finished, take a picture of this outside and the inside so we can see how you did and also see your beautiful handwriting.